All right. We are live, ready to go ahead and talk about some more stuff about business structure and really get you up to speed. So today we are talking about stop using your personal account for your business stuff. Because I've again all this stuff I'm not past it. In case you guys didn't know, my name is Emmanuel Velasco, and I'm a professional failure with over 200 plus $1,000 of mistakes that I'm looking to get to $1 million worth of mistakes. And so, with that being said, I'm on a mission to help 7,200 people learn everything I know so that they can each help another 7,200 people do the same. And with that, the ripple effect is over 51 million lives impacted. And now, with that being said, let's go straight into our book, but let me make sure that I'm live on all platforms really fast. All right. And this time, we're making sure that it's green. We're going green. All right. So we are officially good to go on there and on there. So now let's plug this thing up. And so, in case you guys didn't know, I am live streaming on two different platforms currently. Yeah, I could live stream on probably all the platforms, but we're live streaming on School. So, that's in the link in the description box below. And then we're here on YouTube. All right. So, on to what we're here to talk about. So, most of the times, people are talking about how they process all this money, but they're processing all this money and they're processing it, and I'm slacking so hard. So I made sure this was green, but I didn't make sure that I was recording. So I'm still, I'm missing something. All right, anyways. So here's the game. The book, right? Sealed still, because all I need is the back right here. And so with that being said, if someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone. The harm is to persist in one's own self deception and ignorance. I may be wrong from time to time. Usually I'm not wrong. And my wife has to say, "You're right." I'm wrong all the time. But by being wrong often, that allows you to know what's right. And by being right, you know what's wrong. Vice versa. You can learn from everything. But, anyways, this is about now, really, I know I said, stop using your personal account for business stuff. The reason why is before we talked about if you haven't already, watch the previous video because we tell you about the basic corporate structure. And to take you through it real quick, there's a holding company, then, there's a living trust, a holding company, and then the LLC underneath that, or acquisitions LLC underneath that, where you actually do business, right? The bare minimum is just having the holding company and the LLC. If you didn't know, Pepsi or Coca-Cola, I want to say they're owned by the same company, the same holding company, but you know it as PepsiCo and Coca-Cola or whatever it is. And so, um, with that being said, when you do business in your personal account, that means that if they are able to find that and be like, I see you're mixing personal with business. Well, now they could break that corporate veil. So the reason why you pay the money for all the corporations and organizing your LLCs and whatnot. Again, this I'm talking from what I've done, right? And so when that happens, right, you end up screwing yourself because the privacy that you wanted to have because you had this account, you no longer have this privacy because unfortunately you decided to buy maybe your rent or put your rent on this card, or you maybe went and bought some toys for your kid on this card. And so like when you do that, that's a big no-no. You want to make sure you keep both separate. If you're going to do something, okay, you pull it from this account and you make sure there's a paper trail leading to this account. So ideally, you would call it a owner straw, and that owner straw would then lead into your personal account, right? And so when it comes down to it, most people are just running everything out of the same account. And the most ideal setup is more so to separate them and have multiple accounts. So what I mean by this is a technique that I call the 50-30-15-5 rule. And so technically it's 4 accounts, but the fifth account is just what the money comes into. So you have one account where money always comes into, right? But nothing comes out. Just money comes in to that specific account. Okay, now you have the second account, the 50%, right? So you pull out 50 and you put that into the investment side of things, right? So you grow that money. Okay, the 30% is what you live off of. And then, so that's personal, right? 15% is for taxes. And then the 5% is for your baller account. So you just blow that money. Now you might be the type that blows money. You might be the type that doesn't blow money. Well, that's up to you to decide what you want to do with that money, right? With that 5%. And so those are the 55, 50, 30, 15, 5 rule, right? It's a mouthful for sure. And so if you cannot sustain the 30%, right? If you're living at 110% of your income, still split it off that way. And then whatever you need, you just like finagle it however you need to do. If you need, 70 in personal, you put the 70 in, you put everything where it's supposed to be, and then you pull from here to put it over here, right? And so the ideal form is for you to get to that point where you can do 30%. Now, 30% is it's enough, but if you think about it, you're burning through a lot of money. So it's at least 3 times your expenses, right? In that example. But now, if you think about it, if you're making 5 grand or 4 grand, that's about 30% is about 1,400, give or take. And so, can you live on 1,400? If you can't, well, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make some changes. And so either you're going to have to make some changes and boosting your income up, or you're going to have to make some changes on bringing your expenses down. And so like the lever game, like you'll never save enough to reach your goals. Really, you're never save to reach $1 million until like you're just basically about to leave this earth. If you go about it the simple way. And so when you go ahead and you make sure that you're putting more so towards the investment side of things, and it's like kind of like paying yourself first by doing your investments, right? And then really, paying yourself first is like putting it into your personal account. But anywho, when you go about this process properly, then you're able to make the tweaks that you need to make it make sense. So if 1,400 is not enough, then you got to boost it up, and you got to make sure that, okay, 1,400 is not enough. I need double that. Okay, so you got to double your income in order to be able to make that 30% be 2,800, right? For this example. And so you got to figure out what that is for you. And most people are living well above their means, or they might be living actually well below their means, but they never took the time to sit down and actually look at their money to figure that out. But anywho, the real question is, how do I take money, right? Because that is the most important part, is how do I take money? Because in all actuality, none of us really make money. The only times that we do make money is literally, the only people who do actually make money is freaking the government. So unless you have your printing press and you're printing out the money yourself, then I'm sorry to say that you are not the father. No, but you are not making money. You're taking it because you always got to take it from somebody else. You always got whoops. Um, you're always going to have to take money from somebody else, right? You got go ahead, and maybe you have car issues. I always go to car stuff because I was a mechanic for 10 plus years. And so car stuff. So when you go to the mechanic, you have to give him money, right? And he takes that from you, and then he fixes your car, right? So he has to take money from you in order to do his job, in order to do his service for you guys, right? What if your car ever breaks down? Which, if you lived in a place where your car never broke down, I need to know like what processes you're doing, because I've had plenty of situations which I would rather not have had, and rather have had a car that worked 100% of the times. But anywho, taking money, right? There's literally, like I said, one person or multiple people, but one organization that's able to make money, which is the government. Whoever has the printer, and that printer is actually legal, because of course there's some counterfeiters right there that they could print out money, and it's fake money, of course. But so the question you should ask yourself: do you take money from someone else, or do you print it from a printer? Because again, if you do not, I would say that I have to take money from somebody. I don't have a printer. I have a printer, but a printer that does the whole money thing, I don't have that. And so there are two things you need to do to start taking people's money today, right now, in this instant, right? You need a bank account, of course, and then you need a payment processor. And so I'm gonna give you the ultimate all-in-one, if you will. If you have Cash App, that's an all-in-one solution, right? They give you the credit card, and you could kind of process payments in the sense of, hey, send it to my Cash App here. That's a form of a payment processor and a form of a bank account mixed in two. All right, let me give you the separate sauce of it, right? So you have the regular bank account. Let's say you have Bank of America, Chase, or what have you, right? Okay, that's your bank account. Then the payment processor is somebody like PayPal is a payment processor. Stripe is a payment processor. And so on PayPal and on Stripe, you can create your invoices, and then, put all the details on there, and then send it out to somebody. So that is a payment processor. That's literally how you take money. And so, real quick, if you've been enjoying this video, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, because we're doing this every day at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We show up, we give some value, and then we hop out of here and we do something else. We're actually cooking something else, which I don't know if you can see in the background, but in the background, we have something going, and we're cooking out a way to push out more content to everywhere, pretty much. And so if you want to be along for the ride, make sure, again, click the link below, subscribe, or the subscribe box, like, comment, share, all that. Anyways, so those are literally, by far, simply the only two things that you really need in order to start taking people's money today, right now, this instant, right? Because you cannot start taking money from people if you don't have a instrument for you to receive, right? So it's like give and take. If you're not open to receive, well, hey, it don't matter how much money this person's trying to throw at you, how much knowledge, information, like I'm trying to say to you. If I'm saying all this information, and at the end of the day, you're like, well, I could care less about what this guy's saying. Okay, so you're closed. You're not receiving, right? If you're open to it, then maybe you'll hear something that sparks something that makes you take action on something that you want to have in your life, right? And so taking money is so important. But it's more so money is an energy transfer. It's nothing else. It's an energy transfer. When you provide energy, right? In the sense of value, maybe, right? You provide value, and then somebody loves that value that you provided them so much that they put a dollar amount to it, and then they're like, "Here you go." That's all it is. It's that you do such a great job that now you get a gift, if you will, a piece of paper that literally means nothing. I don't know where the book is. I want to say it's right here. I want to say it's this one. Lords of Easy Money. Go read that, because you'll find out that everything that you're working hard for on the 9 to 5 to get is actually worthless. So it might help you. It might literally destroy you. I don't know. You rise up from the ashes. But so taking money is the only way that we're able to survive. We're giving energy, right? We give energy so that we receive money. And so my wife, she always has like such a hard time when I say, hey, we got to take people's money, because it's such a harsh way to say it, right? But it's the truth, because there's no other way we create money. We don't create it. It was already created. Do we make it? No, we don't make it. We just like, even if we go to the bank and we're like do 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 password, and then boom, it gives us money. It didn't make no money. Like, we didn't make the money. It just like processed the money that I had, and then it spit it out to us. So just like that system has a process, we have to have that same process for ourselves to make sure that we get paid for the wonderful services that we do. And so it's by far one of the most important things, I would argue, is understanding how to take somebody's money in all forms, right? And let me give you an example. So um, my mom, she tends to do some crafty stuff, so like making freshies, or like smell molds and stuff, or just like arts and crafts type of things, right? And so she was, for a long time, she was doing Venmo, right? She had Cash App, and then she had Cash. Maybe she had PayPal. I'm not 100% sure on that. But so she had the basic methods, if you will. And so from those basic methods, yeah, she would go to these events and these shows and do pretty well, do okay. But then when I was like, yo, you should process payments. So, like, I got it right here actually, because I was on the move, making sure I have this on me. Because guess what? This is from Stripe as well, and so this is a payment processor thing. So you could either, we'll grab this for the example, tap it, right? You have your phone, tap your phone, whether it's Android or Apple. We could insert the card right here. Boom. We could, in the back, I don't know if you can see that. We could swipe it, right? Boom. So basically, all excuses that you have of, oh man, I can't pay because I don't have cash. Well, guess what? I have card. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I usually just use Apple Pay. Oh well, great excuse, but I have that too. So here you go. So having one of these is vital, and see how small it is. Like, there back in the days, there was like this big machine that you had to use to process payments. You don't need that anymore, right? You don't need to have like a whole table and stuff to process payments. This fits in. Let's show you, and also for you guys to see. This literally fits in the pocket. Boom, it's gone. And so it doesn't take any space whatsoever. It does cost, I want to say, $60 or something like that when I got it, but it's well worth it. And so back to the story. So I told my mom about this. I was like, you need to get on this Stripe stuff. It's very simple. All you gotta do is fill out the information, and boom, like, you basically have access same day to everything, except of course this has to be shipped out to you. But she went ahead, did the process, and on the next show, she nearly doubled, if not more than doubled, her sales. And why is that? Because more people are in this wave now. They have their card on them. They have their Apple Pay on them because they usually have their phone on them. So they use this so that they could get so they use their phone, they use their cards and stuff. Everybody has that always on them. There's not a single person that doesn't have at least either one of the two, their phone or some form of payment, whether that's cash or card, right? And so by doing just this step of creating payment processor, not being like, hey, just mail me the check. It's like, okay, mail me the check. That's great, right? But that's slow, right? So okay, 5 days to mail the check, 5 to 7 days, or should I say 7 to 10 business days, because that's usually how they do it. And then you also have to worry about the, okay, you take the picture of the check or you put the check in the bank, and then you gotta wait for it to process. So that's another few days, right? And so because of that, it's a long-winded process. And whoever's on in the chat right now, make sure you put a thumbs up on this video. Um, but also it's just a process of why why make it complicated for somebody to pay you? Make it as easy as possible. And the best part about Stripe too, so like we have all these methods, right? The one of the best message is to do a straight up wire transfer, bank transfer, ACH, right? Transfer. And that's them linking their bank account to you. And you could set up whatever type of payments you want, annually, monthly, weekly, daily. Like, you set it up however you want to set it up. It's very customizable. It's uh, I don't know really if the learning curve is that crazy. If you spend like a day, 30 minutes, an hour, you'll pretty much know how to work Stripe in all its entireties. And there's also a app called Collector. Hold on, it's called Collect, I want to say. Let me pull it up. Ah, Collect. And so when we go into Collect, this is how we actually link to this and use this. And so when we go into Collect, we could literally create straight from here. We don't even have to use the Stripe app, which I would show you what the Stripe app looks like. But you don't even have to use the Stripe app. So what I'm going to do is I click number pad. It gives me all the numbers. And then boom, I just type in whatever I want to charge. And then we're like, okay, that's continue. And boom, connect to reader, right? And so like I would do the like all that process, but it's literally plug and play. You just click connect. Of course, you have to have this thing on. It has 4 lights right here. And then boom, you're on. And that's it. And then you're ready to collect any form of payment by making sure that you have all the forms of payments available. And I know this switch from personal, don't do your personal stuff in your business, but we handled that already. This is extra right now. And so make sure that you have every form of payment processing that you can. The more the merrier. I know you can control and streamline and be like, this is all I accept. I only accept cash. Okay, that's fine. You could run your business like that, but you're cutting yourself off or selling yourself short because this is a whole nother gateway. Like there's some people who prefer cash. There's some people who prefer card. And there's some people who prefer the phone. Like you don't know which kind of person that you're coming in contact with. So by having these things in place, it gives you the ability to have that option available to them so that no matter what, if they're interested, hey, you're going to get this item, you're going to get this service, and you're going to get paid. Of course, of course, of course. There's always fees attached to mostly everything. Right now, I want to say it's around 3% plus 30 cents or something like that. It doesn't matter what the fee is. The fee is what the fee is. That's the cost of business. At the end of the year, you get to write that off. So does it really hurt for you to do that process? Not necessarily. It doesn't hurt you. It's not a big deal. So with $60 and you don't pay the transaction fee unless you have a transaction, right? Of course, there's refunds. Make sure you provide quality services. But after that, it's like you're good to go forever. This was bought like 2-3 years ago. It's still here, right? So it's like still here. These two equal. I have my own payment terminal, my own ATM, basically ready to go. I know it's ATMs pull out cash, but it's like I'm pulling people's cash, if you will. And so that's basically the process. That's all you have to do. Start taking people's money instead of acting like you can create it, because we don't create money, we don't make money, we never did, and we probably never will. The only time we will make money is when we're back on the barter system, and the barter system is just whatever the currency is at the time. But anyways, if you like this video, make sure that you go ahead and click the link in the description box below. There I have a link that leads you to my Skool community, where I talk about everything and anything, but the most important part is you get access to a community. You get access to like-minded people. I can't tell you enough how important that is, because like J. Cole said, if you share your dreams, if you don't share your dreams, then they can't shut it down. But that was because he was around the wrong crowd, the crowd that would shut his dreams down. And if you want to be in a crowd that's like, that shit sounds crazy, bro, you should do it, that's the crowd you should be in. Somebody to uplift you. Maybe they guide you in the right way. Hey, I don't know about that idea. Have you thought about this, and that? No, I haven't. Boom. Like then you add some more place. But you need a community. And down in the description box below, my community is called I Learned It From the Internet, because nowadays everything we learn it from the internet. Literally all this information, I learned it from the internet. Years worth of interneting. Right? And if you don't want to spend 10 plus years of interneting and a whole bunch of glorious mistakes, then don't ask for wisdom, because that's what happens. A lot of mistakes happens, a lot of lessons happens, a lot of pain happens in order to gain wisdom. So if you want to be wise, just know there's tests for that wisdom as well. But anyways, I'll see you guys on the next video tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll see you in a few. Peace.